right, recording started. So I see your request, and I do take requests. Actually, what I want people is to bring requests all the time so we can find setups. Sometimes you guys see something that I haven't seen. You guys bring it to my attention, and then boom, we get ourselves a trade. Um, but usually what I do, trying to keep people on the stream, is to take requests after I review futures, and then we go through some single tickers. You're okay with that? I hope you're okay with that. Sure. All right. So we got just very few people, but we'll start. We gave it we gave it 5 minutes from the message that was posted. So let's dive in. I'm gonna maximize the sell. We're gonna go down to a daily chart, which it has a lot of levels. This on ES, the S&P 500 futures. So by anybody that is trading SPY, SPX, or ES itself, you got a clear try set. You use the same product, same charts. It's about the same thing. So we're gonna dive into what the weekly and what the weekly is forming right now, and the daily. And right now, I think what is today? Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, and next week is a short week. Tomorrow is CPI, so we're gonna get a move. I think. I mean, we gotta preemptively move. I don't know if it's about CPI, but that was on Monday, right? That cover almost all of the range that we've been having this whole weekly candle. Now we're still going higher by usually weekly moves. I should probably we should probably not expect that much on Thursday and Friday, and it's just by the law of probabilities, right? We tend to have very large weekly ranges when we have like some kind of bottom reversal, right? That does something like this, but the rest of the candles are actually quite small, something like this, um, you know. But the let's take a normal looking candle. Let's take a normal looking candle, do a shaded area from lows to highs. We move it, extrapolate it to the current week, and we're actually almost there, right? So the options market, I'm sorry, usually prices in the the move for the week. It prices in the move for the next day, and then it also prices in the move for the next week. And usually you can see what the range has been priced in for the weekly once you hit Friday close. So this Friday close will get the expected move of the points up or down for the next week. That's how the option markets bets on the side. So right now, I believe if I look at SPX, because this is how you have to look at SPX for that, I'm gonna bring this chart right here, put it on the daily, and I have this just indicator that shows me the every week, the expected move, the upper end and the lower end, and this is where the last week closed. On the black line is where the last week closed, and you can imagine the green one is the upper end of the expected move, and then the lower end. So if the options market is efficient, the SPX is gonna stay within the expected move. Sometimes we get out of it. Look at this weekly example. Look at this week right here that got out of it very strong right here on the Wednesday candle. And it can get outside. It doesn't have to be inside. And so where are we right now? And this week, you see this last week close right here. Monday pushes like this. And right now we're outside the expected move. So I like whenever you're trading outside the expected move right here, what you can start expecting or what you can start aiming for is a 1.5 expected moves, very a deviation, or two standard deviations. So meaning that you'll take you can do the fib retracement tool just to find the half point, or you can just do some math. But let's put a yellow line on the 50%. I mean, I'm sorry, a line right here. Oops. Hold on. All right, 50%. We're gonna delete the fib. We gonna hold on. I'm sorry, that's messed up. I was looking for the 50% up. Sorry, my bad. My apologies. So 1.5 standard deviations, it's right here. I have 50% extension and it's right here. So if you guys see, we're above it. Let's do purple and dash so we can see it. Okay, that's 1.5 expected move for the week. Now to get the, if you notice, we're already trading above that. This is a strategy, right? If we train about the expected move, we're most likely gonna go 1.5 standard deviations, and if you go higher, you go for a 2 standards. I mean, if things are crazy, even 3 standard deviations, right? But that's just if you use the expected move as any reference on your trading for the SPX. So this is basically, you see this shaded area, this is basically the expected move. You move it up, you're right here. So I was thinking, you see this level right here, right? This level right here, 48.12 on SPX. What is that on the weekly? Look at that. Look at that, 2021, the end of 2021, the beginning of 2022. Look at that. So 2 standard deviations, it's almost the previous all-time high. So it's very possible that the rest of the week, let it be Thursday or Friday, we push into the previous all-time high. And I mean, a lot of people are trying to short this market. They just think it's irrational and it's going up like this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, sure enough, we're extended from weekly moving averages and so on, not, but that doesn't stop the market from going like this, right, to the previous all-time high. So my thesis, right, I don't have a crystal ball. If you read that on the messages, sorry, I was trying to bait you in. But the crystal ball, that I have, my expectations is that most likely the market will do this 2 standard deviations and probably a little more, because once you're very close to all-time highs, you're most likely gonna break it. By how much? That's anybody's guess. But it's so close to it that, I mean, it can break, and then we'll see how far it goes up to it, right? I believe SPY will hit it before, maybe. And I know that if you have a chart that adjusts for the dividend, it'll look different from what it doesn't do for a dividend. So gotta make sure you got the right charts. All right, so sorry, well, somebody was knocking on the door in the office. Okay, so that's what I got for that, to expected moves. Next up, that's what I have. If you look at the weekly candle, we're gonna go back to this right here. If you back to the weekly candle on ES, we're engulfing the prior weekly candle. You see that? So I don't see a problem. Like, usually the market will not leave an extreme untouched. It won't stay inside of the prior weekly range. Usually, right? I'll say that. I just look at previous weeks like this, right? You have a candle that takes out the low and the highs. You have a candle that takes out the highs. You have a candle that takes out the highs. You have a candle that takes out the low, that takes out the low, takes out the low. This one stays inside. Okay? One candle stays inside. One weekly candle takes out the high, inside, takes out the high, the low, the low, the low, the highs, the low, the low, the highs, 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 high by a little bit. I think this chart is messed up on whenever we had a contract change, but highs, 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 lows, and right here we're technically inside the previous weekly high right here. So just by example, right here on this past weeks, we have very few inside candles, so it's very rare for the market to do that, right? Especially if you are like in a breakout area or some important level. So I do think that being so close to near all-time highs, the odds that okay, we're gonna top out right here and that's it, blah blah blah, are very low. The most likely we do and we gonna have a breaking candle. Okay. Well, what do you guys think? This is already showing. Look at futures. It's already showing a new all-time highs right here, but that's not true. Okay, that's futures roll over. They have a different pricing, and I don't. I think this one doesn't adjust very well. On there's some problems with since this we contract change right here. This TOS has been like it's not adjusting for some reason. It's not adjusting. Any previous contract change has been alright, has been adjusting, and this one doesn't. So I don't like to base a lot on my weekly chart because of those. Those gaps do not exist. Okay, just make sure I probably will have to look at this through a trading view or something. But anyway, the so that's what we're looking for, right? So going back a little bit, some people just joined, so I'm gonna do a little very fast recap. This is the SPX chart right here. Oops, right here on the daily. Oops, yeah, on the daily. Okay, so we're looking at this is expected move to the upside, to the downside. Last week closed right here. 1.5 standard deviations is this purple line, and 2 standard deviations is right here. And if you look back, this is previous all-time highs. So we're very close to it. So the likelihood scenario that we do 2 standard deviations and then go into the last 52-week high is very high. It's very high. It's we're already closing about the 1.5 standard deviation and whatnot. So I think it's possible. And looking at the weekly setup, we are basically engulfing last weekly candle, to the upside. So this is looking like I had a mild pullback on the weekly, and then we're continuing up on the melt up because we had a melt up for many weeks. Okay, and we just had a pullback this week, and looks like we're gonna continue. That's what it looks like so far, right? So don't put it. I don't have a crystal ball. Don't put it on stone. Blah blah blah. You know the drill, right? Um, I wanted to share it today. I cut the top. I want to be very proud that the top was caught in, and basically this is my levels that I use for trading, right? I add and remove and based on what we do, and I took out this high right here that has confluence with this high and this low right here to be a very important level. So I do understand why the market had topped out right there. We'll have to see a break of that level to continue higher, because if we do not make a new high, then that's gonna be probably it for this week, right? Because that's such an important level right here, right? So the trade worked out all the way through here. Uh, that's on ES, right? So let's look at a little bit of what the NQs are doing. Let me see any questions or anything. I go through open chat or to the chat on Discover Stream, and I see Pally says, "Yeah, definitely looking for long opportunities Thursday and Friday." Yeah, and if we happen to do this range for my thesis tomorrow with CPI, then I will be very careful to stay long, right? So let's say that futures do take off, going back to ES, right? Actually, I need to place a level higher. I don't have it. Okay, I'll place a level later. I'll go back to the previous all-time highs. Well, I have to find out what it is on futures. I'll have to check TradingView or something, because this is the contract change is messed up over here. But anyway, the if by CPI tomorrow we do take up prior all-time highs and go up a little more, then I will probably be careful for more longs. Okay, I will probably be careful. I'll probably look to see not necessarily shorting opportunities, but the market opens extended to the upside is gonna be tough to trade. Gaps are tough to trade because the possibility of filling the gap is there. The possibility of continuing higher is there. The possibility of gap continue higher a little bit and then hold and to just stay sideways is there. There's certain gap rules that we use on the VIP, and just to give you the general idea, if the opening drive is not towards the fill of the gap, wait, to start, if it's a gap of 20 plus points, it's a large gap and has low odds of filling that very same day. If the gap is less than 20 points, it has a slight probability of filling the gap on that day, but it has to have certain criteria, which is having an opening drive that goes towards the gap, opening trade, 15 minutes, holding the price down below the open, and it's heading towards the gap direction. And what you do is trade towards the prior day highs, and if it doesn't have a drop, you know, um, if it doesn't have a drop at the beginning and does have a pump, you have to be careful because most of the range has been done. And at that point, you may have a little pump at the open and then just sideways, consolidation sideways. There's also another rule that if you fill the gap and then I believe I have to check the rules. I have to check. I forgot about that one. But that's the general idea, okay? So we'll see tomorrow if that's the case. If CPI does take us to new all-time highs, then like I said, I will be very careful. I wanted to see like there's actually a good example on Bitcoin. I think on Bitcoin here, kind of like this. I don't know if you guys remember the 60,000 when he made those all-time highs. Well, so we had a run up like this. We pulled back. This is a monthly chart, by the way. And as soon as we broke a new all-time highs, we did it for 1 month, and the next month we did another poke, but that was the end of it, right? I mean, it's recovering, but that was the end of it for this move into all the way to 15,000. So you have to be careful. The odds usually are that new highs tend to fail, and the market is extending. Remember, so the market is extending, new highs tend to fail. So we have to be careful that how far can we take it up. But we're day traders, so at least we can aim towards the oh, look at this resistance coming in right here, and right here it's like a zone right here. You see why it's topping right here, this candle? We have it right here. I haven't traded crypto, Bitcoin, or anything like that for a while, so haven't seen this chart at all, really. I just keep it right here. I don't know if you notice it's right here on the little square. But that's the general idea. Watch out for those. And yeah, look at that. 48,500 exactly. So that's the general idea. It's best to see that all-time highs, like I said, not on futures because it's already showing right here. But go to your SPY chart. I have some people are arguing, this is the previous high that we have, 477.55. But I have the all-time highs back in 2021 at 479.98. And this is excluding anything from pre-market because there was, I think I remember, I don't remember if the pre-market, if the highs was done on the trading session or doing pre-market. But regardless of that, that's I will keep an eye on that all-time highs. Okay. I don't know who's right. Time Taker has different all-time highs. He's right here. But yeah, that's probably, like I said, that's probably where we're going. How far is it the poke? How far is the trade gonna be? I don't know. Nobody knows. What I could do, look at this. There's actually, I think let's use the futures one. What I could do is probably looking at a favorite tracement from where the run started to where the run up top, and it does not look like we bottom at a certain fib. But sometimes I like to take like a previous run up like this to see what the extensions are. Like if we only do a 10% extension poke, that means that futures can go to 48.65, 66, 48.66 or so. So usually I like to take like a 10% extension poke of the prior move up before a pullback, and then see how far it goes. And then this is the 50% all the way over here. So if that means if it makes half of the move up like this, it may end up over here. Okay. So that's that. Let's look at NQ real quick. So NQ, has something that ES does not. So ES, let me point it out real quick. ES, whenever we had this daily candle right here, this daily, you see this topping candle, then this daily candle breakdown. The next daily candle had the highs at the lows of this candle. So that's usually proper structure, right? So that's what we call proper structure. And usually, I think this session, what I did aim some longs into this high, did not flip short, but from what I remember, but that was a good trade, right? Because proper structure will take it over here and then reject. Now NQ did not do that, right? On this day. So what you end up with whenever you don't have a proper structure up, oh, look at this. My level is called proper structure down. It's because I look for those, right? And whenever you leave it like that behind, you what you have created right here from this point is called a fair value gap. So meaning that all this between this and this, you have a fair value gap. Why is the name like that? I have no idea. That's what people call it. So if we end up trading up, my aim could be into this fair value gap right here, into this proper structure down level, and see from there. See, maybe it rejects, because if the market wanted to go up to fix inefficiencies before a leg down, this is what it will do. It will go up into this point, fix the last inefficiency at the highs, and then back to the lows, and then start making a lower high and then dumping down. So that's a possible scenario. If it breaks the fair value gap, by I don't know what you want to call it, 10, 15 points. It's that fair value gap did not keep the market down. It didn't go up to fix any efficiency, so it's probably gonna go higher. So keep that in mind. Any questions, commentary, or anything about it? Do you guys see what I see or not? How does it look? And how does this look on the weekly? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Just as NQ has a very low probability of having inside candles on the weekly, if you notice, we have not taken the last week low, right? We have not taken out we did not take the last week low. So the odds probability are that we take out the prior weekly high. How far does it go? Well, we have a resistance right here, that fair value gap, this little area right here. So you got that trade right there. That's seeing something like that, it's pretty good. That's the power of charting, right? Just like the highs of today, just like the highs of today right here, right? If you look back to your charts, if you analyze what's behind to your left, you can see these levels, right? And I want you guys to pay attention to, my levels are usually red, but when I think it's like tier two, like bigger level, has more connotation, can be more meaningful, I'll color coded yellow. And if it's tier three for me, is whenever I put it purple. And sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. But right here we got the yellow level. So, and if you guys have any doubts, because I don't like that people do that, like, oh, I call out the highs, just like yellow, jello. Sorry, man, I speak Spanish. Jello. I don't know how you say jello. Whatever, man. Try to say carro. Try to say carro for me. Never mind. So going to, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So if you guys have any, like, I like to brag whenever we have like a call out of a trade, of an idea, and it ends up working. This is from today. This is part of this little section is the VIP room. This is where you guys are. And right here on Member DD, this is where I post all the setups DD that we see. We get some good trades off of that. And for today, ES, I'm not gonna read this to you; it's a little long, but I want you guys to look at this picture, right? This level right here. So we ended up using this fib for levels. If we ended up using the extension for another level, and it was confluenced with a daily level, and then obviously our ultimate target, like the level on the weekly right here. So that's this level right here, and I just feel proud about that analysis. Did I take full advantage of that move? No, no, I did not. You know, had I known it was gonna go all the way to that level, I mean, I would have taken the whole position up, no trims. You know, just sit back and watch it gonna go up. But that was not the case. You know, it's just I think it's unrealistic to think like you're gonna take a whole position to target. You have to be your day trading. You have to be careful that that you know that it could turn around on your faces. Like there was a trim right here. There was actually a trim on this push, and I was very glad that I did. Then it went higher, and there was a trim right here at this point, and then it went higher, and the last trim was right here. But by that point, most of the position was out. So I don't think it's a bad idea to trim, you know, because you never know. It makes that high, and that's the end of it, right? So time taker saying, wonder if this little run up, how was the market pricing in the lower inflation rate? I mean, I think it's mostly about the Fed pivot. You know, I think we had past CPIs, what like past the last two CPIs from what I remember, the market moves based off of that were very mild, were very small. Where you could, like market just was brushing off, you know, that move. I let it be up or down, and I don't know, maybe it's the case again for the CPI, but if the number is good, or if the market likes it, not that the number is good, if the market likes it, then we have our way up, right? The I think what the market is pricing in is mostly the Fed pivot. You know, it's in talk, it's in everybody's mouth, the Fed pivot. So we'll see. Everybody's hoping for the return of the lower rates, and kind of want to buy a house soon. So I hope that they do drop, but I want the housing prices. Like I've been talking about. Hopefully, we get a market crash. So prices go lower, and then the rates go lower, and then I'm in, baby. I'm in. It's not gonna. It's not going to drop. I'm gonna wait forever. You've been waiting for 10 years, man. What were you doing in 2008, man? You were wasting your time probably somewhere. What was I doing in 2008? I was in college with zero money. I was in college in 2008 with zero money. But they were giving out loans to anybody. I could have taken it. I didn't know that. Nobody told me. Now I know because I saw a movie about it. No job, no income, or whatever. The no income, no job. Ninja, what they were called, ninja loans or something like that. Something like that. Super low supply still. Once rates get back into low six, high demand again. Low six, that's high demand. Oh my god, I wanna see 4%, you know, and then I can get my feet wet. You know, I can try it. Of course, 2020 was a time in hindsight. You know, if you didn't think that the world was ending, but it's gone. It's gone. Man, what a time, right? I mean, I took advantage of that 2020 on crypto. That was my big, that was my big moment. And then trading was there like usual, but I did not take advantage of housing. You know, I was very ignorant about housing at that moment. You know, like I knew, I kept hearing that the rates were low, and I knew that they were 3 point something, right? 3 point something percent for, and I knew that. But what I didn't know is that how low were they, or how high they can get. So that was my ignorance. Like I had never pulled up a chart of historical interest rates to see that we were really low. and I should have taken advantage of that. So that was part of my ignorance, and it is what it is. So two 2.35 was the lowest one my friend got. Jesus Christ, that's free money on a 1.6 million house. Man, that's free money. And probably that 1.6 million house is now worth 2.5. You know, with all the how the houses went up, that's probably that house went up a lot. I mean, if somebody can buy a 1.6 million house, they probably don't care much about the taxes, Model. That's my guess. Yeah, we need a massive unemployment, and they'll give in the house, right? Like, nobody's gonna give up those rates, but I guess if we so we get a massive unemployment or whatever, and there's that they will be forced to, right, take whatever equity they can from the house, and I'll come in and swoop in. But that's a lot of people thinking as well. So of course, right, I'm part of the masses that think like that are just gonna stay in the silence until that happens, right? So yeah, man, I deviated from the charts. Paul Ash, I'm gonna look into your setup. My apologies to keep you waiting for half an hour. Yeah, it was a good topic. Yeah, man. So I actually went to see an open house today earlier, but yeah, I didn't like it, so it was a waste of time. So UPST, you said you want to check out UPST. Let's see. Okay, so you're looking for longs or shorts. You I would have to look for either a long. Actually, if you can get a thesis for both sides, that's better. And then you trade the one that you have more conviction with. Like if you're waiting 80/20, you go for the one that has 80% of your conviction. And yeah, if the other one happens, then you know that the other side won't happen. So that's when you take the L, right? So I like to know your side, and I like to know if you already have a position because that's um that's very unusual. Like people asking if they should cut or already like if you're looking for a new trade, I understand it, but yeah, planning to go long. Okay, what do you think of a good entry point? So that let's go into a weekly chart, and I will say that it's here, man. Look, usually downtrends will end up. Look at this downtrend right here. This was the top, right? I don't know if you guys remember the on the news. This guy like, hey, like it was they were saying that UPSD is a fantastic stock, and was he? I think it was what this guy's name? I forgot. This popular guy or this famous trader. Anyway, they got asked. He got asked on television like, what does this company do? And that was the day of the top. From there, it just dumped, and he couldn't answer. He couldn't. That guy didn't know. So I get it. He trades imaginary lines like I do, but come on, man. I know what all the companies do when I trade, and if I don't, I like to know what the sector is. But obviously, he's a better trader. But I like to know what the sector is, and I look back to see if I have like confluence with the sector and whatnot. And basically, Upstart is fintech, you know. So so a lot of the times, like if you look back to this trend on the weekly, you'll see that it's gonna be topping out at the EMAs right here, like a day, like the weekly 20, like the weekly 50 or so, and it'll stay below that. It's still below that for a while, right? It's still below that. For below that, you'll have the occasional break, but once you see a weekly candle that goes up like this after a big trend lower, you're most likely changing directions at that point. So what you're seeing right here was a huge run up that ended up failing. I don't know why. I don't know if it was this earnings or what happened over here. This looks like it was an earnings week, and it made this downside move. And it traded below the weekly 20 for a while on this move down. But what has happened on this week, we had a meaningful break off of it right here. And we have a move up like this. So usually you want to take the low where the move up began from the last pullback. So meaning this candle, or you can even go to this candle. So it's all about perspective. So starting from the weekly right here to the tops right here, and you want to see if the lows have any confluence, because the lows are the fibs are your entries, right? You can enter long right here, here, right here. I know that this one fell, but the other entry did not. So probably your entry is gone. The entry was right here. And in fact, you had another opportunity today, and maybe you get it later, right? Because we're talking about a weekly setup, but not only you have a 618, but you have a weekly 20 EMA supporting the price right here. So I like this setup. Um, who knows if this can push higher for a lower high, but you also want to see if it's gonna be a lower high, it's gonna get a favorite retracement from here, but on the other side, like backwards, right? So it'll go up, either reject here, either reject here, or either reject here. And the lows of this candle has confluence with proper structure down into the 618. So that if I had taken a long on UPST and starts working, this could be my main aim for the upside move. You know, responsible trading will say that you should take profits right here, right here, right here. You know, so in case it does turn around to the downside, but if it doesn't stop right here, then if it doesn't stop at the 65% retracement, then you're looking at a high probability of reaching this high again on the future, right? But you'll take it level by level. So I think this is a good long opportunity right here, right? I mean, it looks good. This weekly candle, if it does not go and take out this low, might end up as an inside candle. So when that happens, you have a setup for not only you have a weekly bias like this, but you have a setup of of an inside candle. So when an inside candle happens, it means like there's some compression, right? Something like this. You have a candle that is inside the previous weekly candle like this. That's compression and then expansion. Boom. And it expanded a lot, right? So not all the time, but that's a good sign whenever you have an inside candle that there's compression that could release. Could it have another inside candle? Yeah. And if that happens, then oh boy, the expansion is gonna be even larger. Which that's what I love, whenever you have double inside candles. And I take those on the daily, but the weekly works as well, right? You'll get an even larger move, depending, right? But you're playing options. You have to find also the right expiration and everything for your play, right? So if you can imagine that this could take one candle like this, another candle like this, another candle like this, you should get a play that is more than 3 weeks out, right? And more, so you don't get killed by theta decay. And you should get a play that this is your main target, that it should be a strike that is inside, right? That you think it can get in the money, right? And if you want to hope for this, you're gonna aim for this high right here, then you have to get even more weeks, But it all depends. You do your analysis depending on what a candle, an average candle that is, a mid-sized candle, not exactly a mega breakout, but what another candle size like here. So this could take 2 weeks, in my opinion, right, to reach this. So who knows, right? I don't have a crystal ball, but who knows? So the daily, honestly, I do not have a setup for it because it is trading below the 20. But most likely than not, it can break it, right? Because it held the weekly 20. It can break it. It has bouncing off of the right levels. This is a higher low as of this moment compared to this low. And we have increasing volume today. So I think there's a good chance. You probably missed a very good entry around these levels, but who cares? If you get this level right here, who cares about that entry? you'll still get some gains and very good ones. Says amazing explain. I will keep following the daily and weekly for this. I think weekly calls will pay good with a good entry. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, no problem, Polash. That's I go through the setups very nicely. And like I said, I'm not trying to sell the VIP because there might be some changes in the future coming in soon. But I mean, it's probably too late to announce it. But all the stuff, stuff like that it gets explained on this on like something like this, right? Like I don't go very detailed to detail what the market usually does under the weekly 20 or the daily 20, blah blah blah, because that's already taught on resources right here. We already teach that over here. So assuming that you have studied that stuff, you can read these descriptions and find some good setups. You know, some find some good setups off of this. So let me give you a trade that was super good. I wanna find the Zim trade. Oh, this one, man. This one was super good. And if you notice the paragraph is so small, right? Like you just got to know that the daily flag breakout, huge volume has been trading the past 2 weeks. Pre-market above prior day's highs, which is the ideal entry. Gap above, main target is gap fill, but for starters, we will aim towards the beginning of it at 1278. Right here, right? This is the picture of the chart. And what do we have right here? Sim on the daily. Oops. Sim I am. What do we have right here is this daily candle is the one on the chart, and we took every year at the highs of it, and then boom, 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 all the way. So the main aim was actually this gap fill right here, and it went even higher. So it's actually kind of like the same thesis, right? Downtrend on the daily 20, you have your breakout, you come back down to retest it, then boom to the upside again. So the what you have on UPST is a weekly one, which in my opinion is even stronger, right? And a firm is already putting in a possible bottom, right? Look at that huge volume at the lows. Look at that huge volume compared to all this. And not only that, you have recovered the daily 20 by a good amount, right? The weekly 20. The weekly 20 has been kept this down. Over here, probably it was trading sideways into it, so it didn't break it. And then you're looking at a way lower, and this is a nice break. So probably Zim is. I'm sorry, I was thinking about firm, but probably Zim is. It could be a long-term investing, long-term investing idea because it's breaking a weekly candle downtrend, right? Downtrend. So this could be a good investing idea. And I mean, options, unless you want to buy 2 years out or whatever, you can play with options. But this stuff like this, and now look like this far, is playable with shares, which are usually an investment that will go more than a year, and even better, right? You'll join the sweet rate of long-term capital gains. Okay. So what is that a ticker or is this says what do you mean? YDYM? Or does that mean what do you mean? No, I'm just joking. Any other ticker that you guys want me to check? Or is that it?
Starbucks.
Starbucks by Motal.
I'm
S
gonna short it.
S-Bucks. My friend wants to short Starbucks. Daily candle is not an inside candle. Oh, it is an inside candle. Look at this. So you have an inside candle right here. So you do have a small compression pattern. Now the inside candle setup tells you that you should aim for the outside candle highs, which is nothing right here, nothing right here. So I will say that they're equal, relatively equal highs and lows. So I see this as a possible bottom right here, right? So think of it like this. This had a massive downtrend. This had a little push up, a dead cat bounce for a continuation down, dead cat bounce, continuation down, and you're not getting a dead cat bounce now. Now what you're getting right here is consolidation at the lows. I do think like there could be a long opportunity instead of a short, but the thing is that I will like it. Like if I get my good long opportunity, then you have your short playout, right? But I don't think there's an entry right here for the short. An entry right here for the short will be somewhere like this was close to a daily 20. This was close to a daily 20. This was close enough to a daily 20, right? So my entry short will be like if this pumps up right here, then that's your short entry, right? Thinking that this is gonna go down and fill this gap. Very possible, very possible. But you also have to think that this right here is not a dead cat bounce. So you have two different ways to meet the daily 20. All right. I was talking moving my hands. I don't know why. You guys can see it. Um, going up into it, back into it, extend from it, going back into it, extend from it, and then trade sideways into it, right? So to me, the long opportunity is not there, right? Right here, because you can trade sideways to meet the daily 20 and then break out later. But if it drops into a gap fill to fix the last inefficiency below it, and then decides to place a long wick and start bouncing very hard, then I got my setup right here, right? I got my long entry right here, and then let's see if it breaks out. But the short setup is not there until it meets the daily 20. Will it go up into it? Will it try sideways into it? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, my friend. But that's what I see on it. And what are you're trying to short it? So what do you see on it? I like to know. News, news. Okay. Starbucks has a lawsuit against them today over coffee flavorings. So somebody invented those flavorings, I guess. Israel boycotts too, I guess. I don't know how big of a market is Israel to Starbucks, and I'm guessing it's very small, right? Like I'll brush it off. The market for Starbucks is in the U.S. Because am Mexican, I go to Mexico and this and that. There's a Starbucks. They're there, but they're not as much as in the U.S. They're not as much in the U.S. And Mexicans like to do alternatives to Starbucks, like um, local franchises, right? That's just the type of thinking over there, and I'm guessing that's the same way for other countries, especially Israel, like something like that. So yeah, that's not a big market for it, so who cares? um, Celine is asking her financials. So I try to stay away from any charts that is about to have earnings. Sorry, my kid is crying. Hold on, give me a second. All right, crisis averted. Um, so going back, all right. So find any charts that is going into earnings. I know people like to gamble into earnings, right? I'll give you a good piece of information. Earnings on banks do not tend to move that much. Let's go back to it and see it. Citibank close right here, move up into this 4.68%. That's like that's like an everyday candle on some big tech company, right? Some Microsoft, Tesla, or well, not necessarily Microsoft, but like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's just everyday candle like this. So that's not a huge move, right? Because if you really want to lotto into earnings, what you want to see is something that you can exponentially go super high or super low, right? So that's my take. You go back to here, there was this earnings. We actually opened higher and then rejected down. You have a move right here on earnings that it closed right here, it opened higher, rejected down. So on this one, I can already tell you that if it opens higher, you have to be careful that it might not have continuation, right? I know there's thank you for joining, time taker. Appreciate it. Thank you. So I know that it's on an option on the daily 20. So my entries could be close to a daily 20 or something like that resembles a pullback that breaks a prior day candle high, something like it goes higher like this and they can go higher. But that's my take. It's about to have earnings, so I don't see it playable in my book. And then you have Bank of America. Okay. So that one, if it did not have earnings, I actually like it very much for the long. Disregard the many lines that I have on my chart. Once you go into intraday timeframes, they do not appear. But you can see that this is defending this low right here from this candle. So it's already an area of support, but it's also not extended from the daily 20 again anymore, right? This move was extended from the daily 20. It was still extended, it's still extended, not anymore right here. So this is already a good setup. Had you bought it right here, it was your entry, but there's still, you can still see if there could be a setup right there on the daily. So my setup for this type of day is coming in the next day, and if pre-market price is sitting about, pre-market price is sitting about this area, you have a day trade for a possible candle that takes out this high, and let's and see how far it goes up, right? Like I will take an average candle size, something like this, right? Extrapolate it into this highs right here, and something like this, right? So could be my aim. That's how I trade, right? Because I can try for one, maybe two daily candles on the chart, but to me, like looking at, oh yeah, it can go to new highs or new all-time highs. That's too far from my side, the way that I trade. Okay, like over here, just like this, right? You're extended from the daily 20, goes back down. The next daily candle takes out this high. It opens on the upper third and takes out this high, and you don't know how far it's gonna go up, but you try to rally it up. Are they huge moves? No, they're not. Banks do not move that much. This is 4.71%, so it's quite a bit for the bank. But on earnings, it does not move that much. Look at this earnings. What is this type of move right here in these two candles? Look at this earnings. What is this? He had a gap up and go. Then he went even more higher. This earnings right here. You have a close and then the earnings on this right here. So really not that much action. So you can see like there's probably not worth it to trade. Okay, just in my opinion, that's what I. So earnings is in 2 days. So on Friday. So I'll just skip it. I will skip it. So, any last suggestion? Just a last one, and then we'll be over. Tesla and Nvidia, gold and silver. Come on, guys! You're waiting for 2 minutes before I'm done to throw me four setups. We can do a lightning round. We can do it very, very quick. Okay, very, very quick. Tesla is actually looking for a possible long opportunity. Um, I don't know if you guys notice on the chart and this regard, all these lines they serve me very well during trading. Once you zoom in, they really don't even you can really even see them that much, right? Bitcoin and FD2 left. Can you do all the tickers on the Nasdaq? Oh my God, there are 100. I can do like I can spend 5 seconds and then maybe I'll cover them in the next 3 minutes. Now, this one on Tesla, I think this level is pretty huge. You see this yellow level right here is 232. Now, having it bounce today again from it, I was thinking like that could have been the low. I don't have a setup due to daily averages, but the weekly is at the bottom right now is the weekly 50. You have a bottom right here around the weekly 50, so it might go again right here. The the this low, like I said, is holding so many supports. If it does not, then you have a gap on the daily right here, this area, from this candle high to this candle low. So if it does keep dropping, the aim will be the gap fill, and that's your long opportunity right here instead. But as of now, I do like this level. That's pretty huge, and you have possible two down, two up, and basically you have three candles down right here. And if tomorrow you open and trade about this high, that's your long opportunity to at least the daily 20 or at least this candle high, right? Do something like this. So Tesla is on watch, actually, just in case that happens, and everything's about the pre-market tomorrow. Um, Nvidia, real quick. Oh, I'm not gonna say anything about Nvidia. Nvidia is in the skies. Well, you want me to say that? There's nothing to the left. It's mega extended. There's so much euphoria on it. You know, you don't wanna you can he pull back? Yeah, maybe, but you wanna be you miss this move. It's done. You know, it may go higher, it may go down, but the long side you already missed it. The short side, the problem is that you're standing in front of a train, and not only that, but you are also in the possibility that it trades sideways over here instead of dropping. Just like we talk about, like beating over extension, trading sideways instead of going into that direction. And I'll give you an example. Everybody wanted to short Nvidia after this gap on earnings, right? There was a huge, huge gap on it. What did it do instead of pulling back? Trade sideways into it. Go up and then trade sideways to not be overextended anymore. Um, so there's that. Okay. Oh, it's. I think it's foolish to look at it. To look at it after you miss the move. And then gold and silver. I'm just gonna go to GL. Actually, futures. GC. So lightning round real quick. Let's draw fifth. It's holding the 618. So there's a long opportunity right here on these levels. You know, with a stop below whatever level is this, and then there's a long opportunity because it's holding that. That's all I can see. Say nothing on the daily, nothing on the weekly. Extended from the weekly 20. So that's a lower high on the weeklies. So careful on that if you're long. And silver, I don't know what the silver future symbol is. Just trading sideways, my friend. There's nothing to say. Trading sideways. Boom, boom, boom. That's on the weekly. You can imagine on the daily is probably even worse. Look at that monthly. This are the monthlies. It's just trading sideways. So nothing you want to do in there. And Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, Bitcoin. Were you kidding, Okami? Because I didn't know you trade Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the highs has hit a major resistance on the monthly. Is this high right here? Major right here, exactly to the penny. So it has an uptrend, and it's gonna have news, the ETF. So that's up to the news traders. Throw the magic lines out the window. That's up to the reaction of the news. And do we have a futures for Ethereum? Because I don't want to open fucking trading view. Oh, let's see. Is that a new 52-week high on the weekly? Do you have a possible lower high? Yeah, look at that. It's rejecting the 618 right here. Soon it's topping out at the 618. So it's a small rejection, not necessarily rejecting. It could drop lower. But this could be a short opportunity. If it's gonna be a 6.865% retracement, short. But I do understand that it's on an uptrend, and the news will take over the crypto market whenever that whatever ETF does. And this looks way stronger than Bitcoin. Look at that, nice breakout. So that's it. That's the lightning round. I'm 4 minutes over my time. It wasn't that much. And I appreciate you guys being here. And hopefully I can get you guys back in the next Wednesday. and have a good night, and hopefully rest well, sleep early, because you have to be ready for the next day to trade. Cannot come in 5 minutes before the market opens without looking for something to push the bottom at. Okay. See you guys around. Appreciate it. With all my love, with all my heart. Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, señor.